friends, welcome. So this morning we're gonna kind of start thinking about weather. We started it last week and we started to talk about it just a little bit, and then fortunately I got a little sick and we weren't able to really kind of talk about it anymore. But this week we're gonna really focus on weather and we're gonna learn a little bit about it. All right. So I thought first we could read a little story about, it's not actually a story, it's an informational book. Remember those books that tell you about the world? Yeah, this is going to give us information about weather. All right, so let's get started and let's see what we can learn about weather. Okay. All right. Have you ever thought how different the weather can be? In summertime, the days are warm. In the wintertime, the days are often cold. We use a thermometer to find out how hot or how cold it is. A thermometer measures temperature. Did you guys know that? Do you guys have a thermometer at home? Yeah, I do. I have one that stays outside all the time. If the weather is very dry and hot, the sun dries up rivers and ponds. Wow, look at that river. It's all dried up. The soil cracks. Plants cannot grow without water. Sometimes, if there's too much rain, rivers overflow their banks. Floods can cause a lot of damage. In very cold weather, water freezes. Ponds and rivers are covered with a thin layer of ice. Animals and birds die if they cannot find food. The most pleasant days are not too hot and not too cold. What do you guys think? What kind of weather do you like? What sort of weather is this? What weather is this on this page? Yeah, it's raining. All right. Clouds like these bring rain. When dark clouds form, there may be a storm. Each cloud is made up of tiny drops of water. These drops of water join up and become bigger and heavier. Heavy drops of water fall to the ground as rain. I think a few of you told me that when we were talking about weather for the first time. I think a few of our friends told us that. Roofs, roads, and fields do not stay wet, even after a hard rain. The sun warms the water in puddles, ponds, rivers, lakes, and seas. The water changes into water vapor. This damp air rises. As it cools, it turns into tiny drops of water that form clouds. If it is very cold, the water in the clouds turn to ice. The ice crystals join and form six-pointed snowflakes. Whoa, look at that snowflake. Isn't that cool? These snowflakes fall from the clouds. If they stay cold, they fall as snow. Do you guys like snow? Yeah, Miss Butler loves the snow. Sometimes, if the rain freezes as it falls, this is called hail. Hailstones are balls of ice. You guys see that? You guys ever seen hail? Sometimes I see it. I've seen it a few times actually this summer with thunderstorms. When it is very cold, frost forms on the ground and on plants. You see that frost? It makes beautiful patterns on windows. Whoa, look at how beautiful that is. They kind of look like feathers, don't they? If you look up at clouds, you will see that they are moving. Wind blows clouds across the sky. Wind is moving air. You cannot see the wind, but you can see the leaves and grass shiver as the wind moves through them. Scientists who study the weather use a special machine that measures the speed of wind. It is called an anemometer. If the wind is blowing hard, the cups spin very quickly. The weather vane also tells us something about the wind. It shows the direction from which the wind is blowing. You guys seen one of those weather vanes? Yeah, I've seen a couple too. When the wind is blowing hard, we say that the weather is stormy. Strong winds can uproot trees and even lift roofs off houses. Whoa, that's really powerful. Some storms are noisy. Electricity builds up in the storm clouds as they move together. The electricity must find its way to Earth. We see it flash as lightning. We hear it as thunder, right? Sometimes there is no wind. The air feels cool and damp. When the weather is misty, we cannot see very far. Drivers must be extra careful. In towns and cities, smoke and fumes from factories and cars can become trapped close to the ground. This dirty air is called smog. Ooh, does that look like a place you want to live? Oh, that's smog. Ooh, no thank you. Not for Miss Butler. Scientists who study the weather are called meteorologists. They collect information from weather stations and from satellites flying above the ground. They use all the information they collect to prepare a weather forecast. Like our weather meteorologist, Tony Petrarca. Have you guys ever heard of him? He's on the news. He tells us sometimes what the weather is going to be like today or tomorrow and the next day. Yeah, Tony Petrarca. The weather forecast helps farmers decide what work can be done in the fields and helps fishermen decide to go out to sea, right? They wouldn't go out to sea if it's going to be super stormy. No, it's not going to be good. Then the waves are going to be big and they might get hurt. And then farmers, they might not be able to grow crops if it doesn't rain enough, right? Weather is super important for these friends. The weather affects what we wear and what we do, right? We remember that. Weather is important to all living things, but we cannot control the weather. What kind of weather do you like best? What do you guys like best? Miss Butler likes fall, I think, the best. Fall and spring. The end. So friends, I can't wait to hear what you guys learned. I just learned so much information about just one little book. What do you guys think? What did you learn? I can't wait to hear about it.